Welcome to Everything Life Coaching. I'm John Kim.
And I'm Noelle Cordeaux. We are the founders of Lumia.
And we're super passionate about all things coaching, and we want to share what we've learned from over a decade of coaching and training thousands of life coaches.
Let's dive into the science and magic of coaching.
On today's episode, Noelle is going to tell me how to cope with personal failure. All right, hold on to your cup of coffee. Today's topic is coaching is an industry that is future-proof according to the Global Wellness Summit. Noelle, good morning.
Good morning. I wrote that title. I wrote it for you.
I love it. It's medicine for me because I'm very kind of short. Anything long-winded makes me nauseous. And so the fact that title is, half a book is good for me. I need to lean into it.
Awesome. Well, I'm delighted that we're tackling this one. We got some really great responses when we covered the Meta job posting around coaching, becoming this internal monster in corporate and organizational life. And another really excellent and trusted source that we can look to for industry trends around wellness in general is the Global Wellness Summit. They are a nonprofit organization. They've been conducting industry research for the last decade. I follow them obsessively, and they put out so much research that I wanted to take some really key information and distill it down for our listeners.
Nice. And I got to say, what I love about this long title is that it's bold. If it was my title, it would just be 2 words: coaching future-proof. But the word future-proof, it kind of raises my eyebrows, my curiosity. I think many people, especially people who are skittish about coaching, they may not think coaching is future-proof. Or those 2 words, I think, can be oil and water for many. So just them in one sentence that coaching is now future-proof. I think it's exciting, and it's kind of a bit controversial.
It's true. So, coaching is a young industry. It's only 35, 36 years old.
Right.
And what we're seeing right now, from the Meta post to the Global Wellness Summit publishing direct industry reports on coaching, is that this industry has teeth. It's starting to take shape. And the places where it is starting to take shape are already mega markets, if you will. So like Meta, for example. And so we're taking a really close look at this report because it signals that coaching is one of the fastest growing disciplines. And this particular report, it's called the 2022 Wellness Trends from the Global Wellness Summit. They only list 10 trends, and one of them is coaching. So out of the whole global wellness infrastructure, coaching is significant enough to command a top 10 spot.
Yeah, that's amazing. And also, when you say coaching is only 35 years old, we are older than coaching.
I know. Thanks, John.
I should use ice skates. I am older than coaching.
I am also older than coaching. And it's true. It's true. And in the world of coaching, I've been doing this for about 12 years. I think you're probably right on target with me, maybe a couple of years further in. And this is the first time that I've seen clear economic modeling that really projects where jobs are going to be created, where coaches are going to be able to work, how they're going to be able to work. So let's dive in.
Let's do it.
So some quotes that I wanted to pull out from this report. One of the things that's really significant is the statement, coaches trained in the art and science of motivating people have been the missing link in both healthcare and wellness.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this quote, coaches trained in the art and science of motivating people have been the missing link. So to see motivation as a science, that's really interesting to me.
It is super interesting. And, it really draws back into the discipline of coaching and understanding of like what we do. So Change is here. Here's another poll quote. Change is here. Training programs and standards are growing fast. New medical models are making the coach as central as the doctor. And an explosion of digital health platforms are putting behavioral coaching at the center. And the wellness world is slowly waking up to their power.
Ooh, I love it. What does that mean to you?
For a long time, I've talked about coaching as it sits on the bookends of the medical model. Mm-hmm. And what we're seeing here is that the Global Wellness Summit is coming right out and saying that the coach is going to become as central as the doctor. And really specifically, this is being driven by digital health platforms that are putting behavioral coaching at the center of wellness. So we have the what, the why, and the how. And one of the key pieces here to think about is that there's so much research that has been developed really specifically over the last 10 years about the effectiveness of coaching. Mm-hmm. And investors across health services platforms, across corporate platforms, across hospitality platforms are starting to look at coaching really seriously.
So what does this mean for coaches or people who are studying to be coaches?
The first thing to really understand is that credentialing is really going to need to come into the fore. So folks with legitimate credentials and evidence-based models are already in high demand. If you go to any single coaching platform that's up and running, Mind Gym, Bravely, BetterUp, they're looking for ICF credentialed coaching. And we're seeing a surge of job openings. And this is especially true as insurance is starting to cover coaching.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because just because coaching is becoming, or in this case, slowly waking up to their power, it doesn't mean that you should just go out and start calling yourself a coach without the training. And I think that's one of the things that in the coaching, people, I don't know, they jump the gun more in coaching than in the clinical world, where they understand you have to go to school, you have to get this degree, you have to take this exam. But with coaching, a lot of people feel like they can bypass that.
Oh, and they certainly can't. And that's, the keywords to pay attention here are evidence-based. So if you don't feel as a coach practitioner that you can actually speak to the theoretical underpinnings, what you've learned, where it comes from, how the research has been validated, and you'll get this in any ICF credential-based coaching certification, you're missing a really big chunk of what both employers and future clients of coaching are going to be looking for.
Yeah.
Another piece that I think is really important is wellness real estate. And this has been around for a long time, but especially coming on the heels of the pandemic, wellness real estate are facets of all inclusive ways of living and existing in planned communities, multi-generational communities, and coaching services, very specifically that support lifelong learning, exercise, health, education, disease management, food and nutrition, end of life, is the modality for delivery in this specific sector that is going to dominate a lot of what we experience in the next 10 to 20 years.
I've never heard the term wellness real estate before.
I have. And the reason that I've heard it is because I read all of the industry reports around our industry, around wellness itself. And where we're starting to see wellness real estate, pop up is in community planning, in functional medicine. And as people are centering their well-being as a non-negotiable part of life. What does it mean to have access to integrative care as we go out and live our lives and play and work and innovate and do all of the things that are going to make a really bright future?
Would the internet and online stuff and apps and everything that's happening online, would that be wellness real estate or not so much? That doesn't apply to me.
Not so much. Wellness real estate is very specifically like actual real estate.
Right.
So, there's a group that I'm familiar with called the Chip Connolly Group. Chip Connolly is a great guy, innovator, visionary, and he has been working on planning multi-generational communities. And one of them that's coming to mind for me is in New Mexico. And so the planning around how people are going to live and support aging parents and support growing families has been baked into both the architecture of this particular community, the programming, the layout, the design, the care, and the way that they're courting people to come and be involved.
I was telling Vanessa this morning, if I was a billionaire, I would build like a compound somewhere by Santa Barbara or Ojai, and I would have all these houses, and I would invite all my friends, including you, to live in and bring it back to like the whole like village. It would be my version of wellness real estate, and we would all kind of help each other and engage in each other because everyone's so spread out. I don't see anyone.
It's so true, and that's one of the ways that I've been excited to live for a really long time is in community with other people in an intentional way, especially thinking about two groups of people right now, people who are my age who either have kids and are running ragged because they don't have enough of hands-on support, or folks who actually, I'm going to put three groups in there, folks who are single. And, living as a single adult is a struggle. If you're sick and there's no food in the house and there's something in the fridge that smells, you need support. And then the third group is folks who are caring for aging parents, because that is a life-changing job.
Yeah, that saying, it takes a village. It's true and it's gone. And so, man, if we could bring that back, that would be amazing.
It would be amazing. And those are the types of ideas that are driving this boom in real estate. And this very specific way that coaching fits in is that these communities of the future will have learning for kids, support for exercise, support for disease management, support for food and nutrition. And that all comes from an integrative approach like coaching. There was something that you said earlier that I think is important to circle back to, and you wanted to know if apps were included in wellness real estate. They're not, but they're part of three other parts of the market that are currently driving the boom in coaching. And in the words of the Global Wellness Summit, there's an absolute avalanche of heavily funded digital health companies. And this is everything from chronic disease management to diabetes to something like Noom, which is a holistic macro app. And all of them are putting, and I'm going to quote this, personalized health coaching at the center.
Yeah, I mean, and also, would personalized health coaching also include content, or are you talking about just live services?
I think it's everything, right? And so this is how and why we're looking at how coaches plug in to this infrastructure. So we have coaches who work at Noom. I know that we have a couple of coaches who work in the diabetes space. One of them works really specifically on an app. And these organizations need people to create the content for them. And they also need live human individuals to deliver the personalized health coaching based on that particular content.
Yeah. And I would say, I mean, just my opinion, but I think there is a digital wellness real estate, in that even if you take an app like Bumble, where Bumble was the first app to change the way that we date, and women being the first to make the first move and all that. Like even something like that, a fun dating app, can be wellness related, can help you, can be a tool with your journey. In this case, singlehood.
Absolutely. And, talking really specifically about dating coaching, that's part of wellness,
right?
Doing it in a healthy way. there's a group called the 3-Day Rule that provides matchmaking. And I've had many conversations with those folks about the role of coaching folks through the dating process and what that looks like from a coaching perspective. And you're intimately more familiar with this world than I am, is coaching folks to be themselves and get curious about others. And I think, too, in kind of looking at this holistic approach, another of the big three, and we can absolutely loop in dating support here, is this concept of a new care team where coaches are as central as doctors. So, if we're thinking about how this would work, it would be like the coach and the therapist, or the coach and the primary care physician. And one of the reasons that this is coming to the fore alongside of insurance companies, so really specifically United Healthcare and Aetna are now covering coaching. And in the US, the American Medical Association has the coverage codes for coaching in place already. They just need activation. So what we're looking at is why is this happening right now? And the deal is that our society keeps getting sicker, and prescriptive approaches to behavioral change haven't moved the needle. And so every single stakeholder in the health and wellness space knows that helping people stick to behavioral change, whether you're changing our behaviors in dating, eating, living, moving, sunlight, meditation, whatever it is, we think that right now coaching is becoming the elusive holy grail because all of the other conventional approaches have just failed.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's exciting.
It is exciting.
I wonder also, speaking of meta, when when we get to virtual worlds and all this, the unfolding of 3-dimensional spaces, and putting on glasses and the phone going away and all that. I wonder how coaching is going to play into those spaces.
It's already happening now.
Yeah,
it's already happening now, and the industries, the way that the industries are combining in a dynamic way is fascinating. So, we touched on wellness, real estate. That's, where people are going to live. I think what you're talking about with virtual worlds specifically ties into another trend, and that is wellness resorts, taking a vacation from your everyday life. So whether you're in a virtual reality atmosphere or you are at an extended stay at a big resort. So Canyon Ranch, Six Senses they're all opening urban wellness centers to deliver everyday coaching. And this is also happening in virtual reality. So coaching is becoming as common as having massage therapists on staff, or going to an energy healer, or having a reading in these spaces, as you'll see a lot of different modalities.
So if you're listening to this and you're interested in coaching and you're thinking about, just the private practice, this is also a great reminder that there's so much more. And, companies are now hiring coaches as kind of the standard with their programs and their retreats and all of that. So there's a lot of opportunity out there.
There's so much. And, to close out with, just to really highlight the way that the field is starting to be consolidated and celebrated, is that the Global Wellness Summit cited the Mayo Clinic as one of the leaders in developing research around the effectiveness of coaching. And the Mayo Clinic does a lot of public health education, and they put forth a definition of coaching. This is it. The Mayo Clinic defines a coach as a professional trained in evidence-based behavior change theory and communication techniques who help people develop the intrinsic motivation, skills, and confidence to hit realistic personal health and well-being goals. They view the client as the expert in their own life, and through motivational interviewing, which is a nuanced form of non-directive empathetic, and mindful questioning help clients dig deep to find motivation and then support goals.
If you're listening and that definition resonates with you, if you're nodding and agreeing with that definition as in, oh, this is something I can do, coaching may be something to explore.
I think so. And I felt this definition was so cool, just in terms of really hitting the nail on the head in terms of the nuanced, non-directive, empathetic, mindful art that coaching is. And it's so good to see coaching standing up alongside of traditional medicine as a career that's future-proof.
Yeah, I feel like in our lifetime, it's going to be just, no one's going to think what it was. It's just going to be kind of standard and given the importance of coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for everybody who's joined us and who's been practicing for some time, because this is the time when established coaches are taking advantage of all of this growth. And I'm really excited for the next generation to come in and make it their own.
Yeah. Well, thank you for listening. Be well. Thanks for listening to Everything Life Coaching. If you're feeling the draw to become a coach, head to lumiacoaching.com/everything. Explore a new career that brings fulfillment, gives you a true sense of purpose, and a bold community to do it with.
Lumia is ready to equip you with the tools, training, and community you will need to reach your goals. If you're ready to build a unique coaching business on your own terms while making an impact on the world at large, Lumia is the next bold step in your coaching journey. That's lumiacoaching.com/everything.
And hey, if you're waiting for a sign, this is it.